So this is what Honorable Malema had to tell, or the question rather that he had to ask President Ramaphosa. Let's just listen in and we'll come and have our reaction to it. Yes.
President, it is leadership to admit when you have made a mistake. You can't come here and say you never promised the people of Alexander 1 million houses. You said so. You said you are going to build 1 million houses for the people of Alexander. And knowing you being a legally trained person, like you said, you are not an illiterate who just speaks without knowing what he's speaking about. And being a president, before you take a stage, your back office would have given you the necessary information which is relevant to this place where you are. So it is important that today you admit that you made a mistake, because those people are dying. Some of them stayed at Stradler, and as a result, that land is not for human settlement. And when you created that impression, a lot of expectation was made. We're dealing with human beings here who've got feelings. And when a president speaks, they've got their expectation, high, because they know it's not a lesser authority speaking. Our fighter was killed, Moshe Mphatlele, in Alexander, fighting for people to occupy the containers, rightful people to occupy the containers. Because of that daily struggle of housing in Alex, now we've lost our honorary commissar during the battle for occupation of these containers. In his honor, and in the honor of the poorest, people who are sleeping with the rats, people who are staying in places where there is no proper sanitation and water, in their honor, I think it is a correct thing to say, I'm sorry, I've made a miscalculation, and I said 1 million houses instead of 40,000 houses. Because to say you have not said it, you are now becoming a professional politician who can just say this today and turn against it tomorrow, and it's business as usual. So,
Honourable Malema, you have to conclude.
With the little numbers that you have now, maybe this will help you to regain some confidence in Alexander. Thank you.
The Honourable the President.
Mushavi, let me start by extending my condolences for the passing of Mphatlele. I had wanted to call you, but I then got distracted by a whole number of things. I felt very sad when that incident happened, because Mphatlele was an important leader in your party. So my condolences. In addressing precisely the point that you are making, we took care to go back to that recording and listened to it. And I had a number of people in my office listening to it and interpreting it, because ke boletse ka Sepedi, ka bolela, and to the extent, Honorable Malema, that it created this impression that I said 1 million houses for Alexander, which objectively would not be possible anyway, because we just don't have the land there to build the 1 million houses. And to the extent that it created that impression, yes, I will say I apologize for having made people believe that I meant for Alexander. What I really meant was, yes, we would want to build 1 million houses for the whole country. And as it turned out, of course, we never really reached even that target because of a whole number of issues. We succeeded in building, during the MTSF, we succeeded in building 240,000 houses, which is way below what we had wanted. And there are many reasons around the country why we have not been able to reach our targets. And these are things that we do need to correct, because in some cases there's been underspending. Money has been laid out, and the entities that are supposed to build those houses often do not do so, and the money is returned. And the issue of Alexandra is quite complex and has been so for years. And we've had a number of initiatives that were put in place, but I do believe that, Honorable Malema, with some of the initiatives that I've spoken about, we will be able to make progress. The living conditions of our people in Alexandra are really, truly appalling. And I should say that it's not only Alexandra, it is in a number of informal settlements, which one sees as one goes around to visit our people. And you can see that they live with rats, they live where there are no facilities, and imposes a huge responsibility on us as government to improve the living conditions of our people. This is precisely what we are committed to doing as the seventh administration, and we will work day in and day out to make sure that we give our people living conditions that are conducive to the living of human beings. So we will be focusing on that. But thank you very much for having raised the issue of the living conditions of the people of Alexandra. I take it seriously, and I'm glad that you also take it seriously. Thank you very much.
Honorable Malema is one of the best opposition leaders we have in Africa. I dare say that. Because this guy is so good when it comes to keeping the government in check. He's so good at that. I'm sure even in this case, Ramaphosa, President Ramaphosa, had forgotten that he made such a promise. You can see how Ramaphosa is so surprised that this question is coming up. Like, how many houses did you promise? He doesn't know. He looks like a confused president in this case. I guess it was one of those promises that were made during campaign that so many of our world leaders, I dare say that, make during campaign that cannot be fulfilled. It was just to impress the people and to get the votes, which is so wrong. And I think Honorable Malema, you know, just caught the president by surprise. Even the president, I think, but also respect to the president that he was so composed. There was no, question answering and arguing back and forth. He admitted that he did make a mistake. And, we don't have so many presidents who can really admit when they are wrong and accept and take responsibility. And I guess I don't really understand why South Africans have never chosen Malema to be the president, even though he offers himself. I don't know if it's about finances, rather, or it's just because he's good as an opposition leader, of which I think he is a good opposition leader. As an opposition leader, he really does make things work, because he keeps the government in check. He pushes them to the wall to do what the people want. And that's the kind of opposition leader that we love and need. And we're going to be talking more in other videos about this guy, Malema, because he's one of the most celebrated African opposition leader. He's so good. And in this case, he was keeping the Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, in check, which was very good. He pushed him and pushed him with all the right questions, which was so good. And also, let me say, President Ramaphosa also did his best to answer the questions right. He was really composed, because if it was other leaders, they would catch feelings and get annoyed and start, quarreling and arguing and all that. And probably they would go after him. Most of our African leaders are like that. So that's my take for this video and for this question. If you have any other opinion, if you have a better opinion about Malema, about Ramaphosa, let's talk on the comment. Just remember, make your comment and we can talk and catch up, because there are other great videos. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please come up and subscribe, because we're gonna be having so many interviews about Africa, and we're gonna interrogate Africa, the things that are happening, also about things that are happening around all over around the world. We're gonna have fun with this. Come on, guys. You gotta subscribe, like, share. We're gonna be talking a lot about the world and Africa and whatever is happening around the world. Thank you.